Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and welcome to another episode of Alphabet Escapades. Now, if you have not been here before, this is my version of a TBR Tackle. I have everything sorted out in my computer with authors alphabetically by last name. I spin a wheel, pick a letter, and we read books from the authors with that last name. So, the way that I've been doing this year, it is not very productive, but I'm at least getting a video out every month for it so far. So the way that I'm doing this is I'm taking the number of books that I hauled in the month prior minus the number of books that I finished in the month prior and subtracting those, and the number that's the difference is the number of books that I'm reading for each video. So in the month of February, I hauled 11 books. Not terrible, not great, but not terrible. And I have accomplished reading 7. Now I'm not counting DNFs toward this, so technically the number would be smaller if I counted DNFs, but I'm not. So that number means that I will be reading 4 books for this video, which is better than the numbers I had in January and February, which was both 5. Now, I'm not actually making a whole lot of progress with my TBR. Technically, right now, I'm sitting at 255 books on my TBR, which is up 5 from when the year started. So not great, but that's okay. I'm not gonna stop hauling books because it's what I love. I love to buy books. I love to have a lot of books. I like to have a lot of books to choose from. I just need to get some of them off my TBR. I need to make sure I'm making progress with it. Our number for this video is 4 books, and let's spin the wheel and see what letter we will be reading from this time. Let it adjust for a minute. Oh, also, now that it adjusted, also, the letters that I have gotten previously, I am hiding those so that way I have a chance to get all the letters that I have and before I start getting a bunch of repeats. I am allowing myself to DNF. Okay, now let's spin the wheel. Z. All right, so we got Z, which obviously is going to be Gabrielle's 11. But we also have, okay, so we have 5 books. So I can read almost all of these books if I get to them all, which will be kind of interesting. There's 3 authors on this list, so we'll see how this goes. Anyways, so we have 5 books on this list for Z, and that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. We have The Storied Life of A.J. Fickrey by Gabrielle Zevin. We have Shadow of the Wind and The Prisoner of Heaven by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Now, these are 2 books in the series. It is the first and I believe the 3rd book in the series, so I can't read both of them because I don't have the second one. But if I don't like the first one, I can unhaul both. Lastly, we have Julie Chan is Dead by Lian Zhang, which is one that I'm really looking forward to. Everybody was talking about this book like crazy when it came out last year, and I really want to read it. So the hype got me. I bought it off a book outlet, and now I have it. So I want to read it. So the question is, what do I start with? Do I start with Gabrielle Zevin? Do I start with Carlos Ruiz Zafón? Or do I start with Julie Chan is Dead? I will do a little bit of debating, but I will come back and I will give you an update once I decide what book I'm going to start with. So, wish me luck, and here we go. So, you saw my B-roll. I started The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This book, when was this written? This says 2001. Oh, okay. Hardcover edition in 1964. So it came out in the 60s. This book is dense. It's very dense. This book is approximately 480 pages, and it is dense. It is a lot of big words. It is a lot of repetitive descriptions. It is a lot of descriptions in the first place. It's some really long paragraphs. There's I believe it's Spanish or like Spanish or like Italian or something like that incorporated, a lot of different names like that. It's just a lot. I wanted to read you one quote that is from page 12, so it's no spoilers if you're interested in reading this, but it says, he loved books unreservedly, and, although he denied this categorically, if someone stepped into his bookshop and fell in love with the tome he could not afford, Barcello would lower its price or even give it away if he felt that the buyer was a serious reader and not an accidental browser. Barcello also boasted an elephantine memory allied to a pedantry that matched his demeanor and the sonority of his voice. If anyone knew about odd books, it was he. It is very dense. And this is... I don't think this is going to be a book for me. My dad read this. He didn't care for it and passed it on to me to see if I would like it, because I had always wanted to try it ever since Cody's Book Corner was still a channel. Or I guess it's still a channel, but she doesn't make any more content. And she had made me want to read this because she loved it. But I found out after reading Pure and Essie that we didn't exactly share the same taste in books. And so I've been putting this one off. And to be honest with you, I made it to chapter 2. And I don't think this is going to be for me. The writing of this being as dense and complicated as it is, like even just reading little tidbits, I'll be like into it 1 second and then I'll be completely pulled out of it because of the writing style in this book, which is nothing against this book. It is nothing against this author. I just don't think it's for me. So I am going to quit while I'm ahead, and I'm just going to call this one quits now. So I'm only 17 or 16 pages into this. I'm not very far. I didn't read very much of it. However, just from reading the first couple of chapters that I did and rereading the synopsis of this book, I've decided I don't think this is one that I'm actually interested in continuing on. If you are interested, the synopsis says, Barcelona, 1945, a city slowly heals from its war wounds, and Daniel, an antiquarian book dealer's son who mourns the loss of his mother, finds solace in a mysterious book entitled The Shadow of the Wind by one Julian Carax. But when he sets out to find the author's other works, he makes a shocking discovery. Someone has been systematically destroying every copy of every book Carax has written. In fact, Daniel may have the last of Carax's books in existence. Soon, Daniel's seemingly innocent quest opens a door into one of Barcelona's darkest secrets and an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. This book is a trilogy, I believe. I believe that there's 3 books, but there might be more than that. Because obviously I have one of the later books in this series, not realizing that it was in this series. And I don't think this is for me. So I am going to call this one quits and move on quickly into something else. That's 2 books down that are coming off of my TBR. Which just puts us ahead within the first like 30 minutes of this video. So, well, 30 minutes for me. It's like the first 5 seconds for you. But that's technically 2 books down that I can unload off of my TBR. And I think we're going to move on to something else. This thing is like, it's seriously, it's dense. The pages are really, really thin. And it's just, it doesn't seem like it should be that chunky, but it is. So unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be for me. I am going to just move on and we're going to read something else. So I am between Gabrielle Zevin and, Julie Chan is Dead. I think I might try A Storied Life of AJ Fickery, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I know everybody loves Gabrielle Zevin, which is why I have 2 of her books when I have never read from her before. I don't know if I'm going to like her writing. I really hope that I do. I know that Sydney has talked about loving Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, along with like everybody else on BookTube has loved Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And I know everybody's loved Julie Chan is Dead. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen next. I actually just finished last night reading Dollface by Lindy Ryan. So I just read a slasher, so I'm not sure. Maybe that's affecting my mood right now, but either way, I'm going to move on. I'm going to decide on something else to start. Maybe I will read Julie Chan is Dead. I don't know. Either way, I will come back and give you guys an update when I have some more progress. Like I said, 2 books down technically, because that's 2 books by this author that I will be unhauling from my shelves. So I will talk to you guys later. So I only did just a little bit of B-roll to let you guys know that I was reading The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. Well, that was this morning, and now I am about halfway through it, a little over halfway through it, and I am loving this book. So this book is obviously following A.J. Fikry. He owns a bookshop on an island, and just his wife passed away a few years before the book starts, and he just doesn't have really a whole lot of interest in anything. He doesn't really have a whole lot of interest in his books. He's very set in his ways. His character reminded me a lot of A Man Called Ove by Frederick Backman, except Ove is much older. AJ is only 39 when this book starts, and he's like a crotchety old man, but he's not even 40. So this book is following him, and he is very much set in his ways. Like I said, he's very stubborn. He is very cranky. He is very specific about what kind of books that he likes. And he meets this woman named Amelia who just started working for a publishing company, trying to pitch the books that they want him to potentially sell in his shop. And he's very rude to her, and kind of just says what kind of books that he actually likes, and then they just, you know, they move on with their day and whatever. And then he is going about his day. He goes out for a run in the evening, and he comes back to the shop, and when he enters the shop, he realizes that there is a little girl who is 2 years old with no mother or caregiver in sight. And that is where Maya comes in. Now, Maya is a little 2-year-old girl that she has been left by her mother in the bookshop. The mom is unable to take care of her and wants her to grow up around books. And that's how her and AJ find each other, and it goes from there. And I am absolutely loving this book. Like, this book is what I hoped that Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop by Wangbo Rham would be for me. Because that one I really hoped it was just going to be like a really cozy kind of read that I just really connected with the characters, but I didn't connect with those characters. I instantly connected with A.J. Fikry in this book. I think it was because of the connections there was with like his personality and Ove. And I really liked his character right from the very beginning. I love seeing his reactions to having this little 2-year-old girl come into his life. And I think a big part of that is because my daughter is 2 years old, nearly 3. And so there is that connection, that, you know, being able to see you know, similarities between Maya and my daughter. And I think that's what makes this really, really fun. And yeah, I'm loving this so far. I am so glad that I'm finally reading it. There are quotes in here that I have had to note on my page bound, so that way I can remember them from this book and like where I was at, because it talks about reading books at the right time in your life and having them make so much stronger of an impact on you and different things like that. And I love that so much. I think it's very much, you know, some of our favorite books are books that we read at the right time and in the right place. And that's why we love them as much as we do. And so I very much believe that. And I'm having a great time with this. I'm loving this so, so much. And I'm very excited to see what happens next. This is not a fast-paced book. However, it is one where you just spending time with these characters and you really start to love these characters and you really appreciate these characters. It's very simple. It gives large text and it reads very, very quickly. The chapters are long, but I don't even care about that just because I'm enjoying this book so, so much. So I'm going to continue reading this one, and I will probably finish it tonight or tomorrow, and I will come back and give you my final thoughts on that. But just, I'm loving this so far. So I'm gonna go back to reading, let my kids continue their shenanigans for the night, and I will talk to you. later. Hey, what's up guys? Happy Sunday. So it is now officially March 1st and I ended up finishing The Storied Life of AJ Fikry last night. I really enjoyed this. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. It wasn't excessively complicated, but there were things in this that really surprised me. There were plot twists in it that I definitely wasn't expecting, and I really enjoyed it. I had a really great time with this, and I'm so happy that I read it. There were quotes in here talking about reading a book at the right time and in the right place and having it make all that more of an impact on you. And I believe in that so much. That is so incredibly true. And I loved these characters. They wasn't anything like excessively descriptive, but I felt for these characters right from the very beginning. And I really loved following their journey through everything that they had to deal with and that they figured out as they went. And I just absolutely loved it. So I gave this 4.5 stars. Now, technically, since today is March 1st, this makes it to where it is my 8th book in February, which means technically I only need to read 3 books for this video, but I'm still gonna kind of do it the way that I was. 3 to 4, we're gonna try to read 3 and we're unhauling 4. So the first one that I read obviously was, or attempted to read, was Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, and I did not like that one. It was not for me, the writing style, and so I did DNF and I'm going to unhaul that one. I'm also going to unhaul Prisoner of Heaven, which is the other book in this series by him. Like I said, I believe that it's book 3. So I am going to be unhauling that one. I finished this one, so that's technically book number 2 or 3, depending on how you look at it. Still so glad that I read this one. And now for my last book. I cannot believe that I'm already on my last book for this episode. This has gone by so quickly. It usually doesn't, but I am, I think, going to pick up Julie Chan is Dead. This is by Lian Zhang. Everybody loved this book last year when they read it. This is about Julie Chan, a supermarket cashier with little to lose, finds herself thrust into the glamorous yet perilous world of her late twin sister, Chloe Van Hoosen, a popular influencer. Separated at a young age, the identical twins were polar opposites and rarely spoke except for one viral video that Chloe initiated, finding my long-lost twin and buying her a house, #emotional. When Julie discovers Chloe's lifeless body under mysterious circumstances, she seizes the chance to live the life she's always envied. Transforming into Chloe is easier than expected. Julie effortlessly adopts her sister's luxurious lifestyle, complete with designer clothes, a meticulous skincare routine, and millions of adoring followers. However, Julie soon realizes that Chloe's seemingly picture-perfect life was anything but. Haunted by Chloe's untimely death and struggling to fit into her new privileged circle, Julie faces mounting challenges during a week-long island retreat with her twins' exclusive group of friends. As events spiral out of control, Julie uncovers the sinister forces that may have led to her sister's demise and realizes she might be the next target. Julie Chan is Dead is a razor-sharp, diabolical debut thriller from a promising young talent. So I am really excited to try this one out. Hopefully I love it. I didn't end up ever reading Yellowface. I still want to, by R.F. Kuang, and this gives similar vibes to that. I've heard it's kind of similar in, like, at least the idea of it, and so I'm hoping that I like this one and that'll make me a little bit more give me a little bit more initiative to pick up Yellowface at some point. But I am really looking forward to this one. Like I said, I know everybody loved it last year. I've just barely started this one. I'm only a couple of pages in, so I'm not going to say anything about it yet. But this is what I'm going to start next. And so hopefully it's a good one. I will check back in with you guys later on when I have some thoughts. Hey, what's up guys? So it is about 3:30. It is Tuesday, the 3rd of March, and I have been reading Julie Chan is Dead pretty much all day today. I am now about halfway through, and this book is following Julie Chan, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but this book is following Julie Chan, and her sister got had some issues when they were young. They had some trauma. So their parents got into a car accident when they were very young. They were both killed. And Julie and her sister Chloe, because they didn't have the opportunity to stay together when they went into foster care, they were separated. Chloe got adopted by the very wealthy Van Hoosens, very well off Van Hoosens, and Julie went to live with their aunt, who was not the best person in the world. So they got separated. They hadn't seen each other in years, and then after a long time, Chloe became an influencer, and Julie was working at a grocery store, and Chloe, as an influencer, came in, and they were reunited as being sisters for her social media account. Chloe bought Julie a house and made it like this whole big video, and then they didn't speak again. They dropped all contact. So Julie, one day, a handful of years later, gets a call from her sister that is very strange and very unlike her. Obviously, they have no communication. And Chloe says something about a mistake, and I'm sorry. And then that's it. And then it goes back to nothing. So Julie starts to get kind of worried about her. She decides she is going to go up to New York City and check on her sister and make sure that she is okay. Well, when she does, she finds out that she finds her sister dead, and she doesn't know what happened. But Julie steps in, being the great sister that she is, the great twin sister that she is, and takes over her life. And she pretends to be Chloe, takes over her social media accounts and her life and her apartment and everything else, and says that Julie is the one who is dead, not Chloe. So now Julie is impersonating Chloe and living her life, and is now coming across quite a few questions that she is unsure of how they came about. So far, I am very intrigued. This book is so readable. The characters are kind of ridiculously over the top, but it is New York City. I'm from a really small town, so for me it's really over the top, so maybe it's not for everybody. But just the way that these people, these other influencers behave, it kind of cracks me up, because they're just so much, you know? But so far I am very intrigued. So the questions at this point are, for one, how did Chloe actually die? Because we think at this point that she potentially OD'd. That's what they believed happened, was that she had OD'd. And, but we don't know that, because Julie came in after she was already gone. So right now there's a handful of questions that have come up that we are kind of coming towards the, I guess the beginning of the end. There is one of the social media influencers, Bella Marie. She does this fancy retreat for the Belladonnas, which is like her little posse that she does every year, but nobody understands where it is, what they do, anything about it. They just know that it's like a week in June. And so we're coming up on that date. And I feel like that's where everything is really going to come to a head, and some things might be answered, or it might just get absolutely chaotic. I'm not really entirely sure. But I am really enjoying this so far. It is very intriguing. It's very interesting. She's not exactly the most likable character, but at the same time, you kind of can't help but be like interested in what she is doing, because it's, I don't know, it's just, she's not a very likable character, but you're intrigued by her, you know? And I'm really enjoying this so far. So this is the last book that I am reading for this video. And I was thinking about it while I was reading this, that I said in my last alphabet escapades that one of these days I will actually stick with a single letter and read all the books from that same letter in the alphabet for the authors. And I've actually done this time. So the only one that I haven't gotten to so far is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, which I'm more excited to read now than I was before, because I really enjoyed the story life of AJ Fickery. And so, yeah, I will only have one Z book left after this. So that's really fun. I actually stuck with the same letter this time. So either way, I'm going to continue reading this. I'm really excited because, like I said, I think we're coming to like the beginning of the end, being halfway through. We're leading up to a certain thing that's going to be happening that we kind of know that is going to be happening. So I'm really excited to see what happens with this, because it's just kind of wild the way that she's kind of building all of this up. And there's a lot of questions right now. So I'm very excited to continue on with this. I am really enjoying it so far. I don't know if I would say it's a 5-star feeling right now, but the ending is gonna play a big part into that. So I'm gonna go keep reading, and I will come back and give you my final update and wrap up this video once I have finished this book. Hello, good morning guys. So I am back. I did finish Julie Chan is Dead this morning. And last time that I updated you, I was about halfway through it and told you I would check in at the end because I thought everything was gonna just go wild, and it sure enough did. This took such a different turn than what I was expecting it to, and it got very bizarre and very strange. And I thought it was very interesting. It was very different from what I thought it was gonna be, like I said, and I don't wanna give any spoilers. So I'm gonna kind of beat around the bush a little bit because I don't want to give anything away. But I went into this book pretty blind, and I feel like it was a fun way to go into it because I had no clue what to expect and where it was going to go, and it made me enjoy it so much more. So I'm ending this out giving this book 4 stars. It didn't hit that 5-star for me, but I still really had a good time with it. I didn't want to put it down. I was super invested. I thought that the intrigue for it was certainly there because you're following Julie as after her sister dies, and Julie takes over her sister's life and becomes this big influencer, and what she's trying to go through, and the way that it all like spins and spirals out of control at the very end is absolutely insane. So I really enjoyed this. I give it 4 stars. So this video, not only have I actually stuck with the letter Z for this video, I've actually had a couple of books that I've really enjoyed. So I obviously gave this one 4 stars, and I gave this one 4 stars, The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. Really, really, really glad that I read these. And then the final 2, or I guess the first 2 I should say, that started out this video is The Shadow of the Wind, and this is, I believe, the 3rd book. Did I ever check that? I don't think so. So yes, this is the 3rd book. I never actually showed you guys this one. This one is tiny in comparison, like half the size at least. But this is the 1st book, and I just didn't personally feel like this one was a good fit for me. The writing style, the density of this book, it just wasn't for me personally. I think that this book could be absolutely amazing, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. So I am going to unhaul both of these. So considering that I finished this one in February, I only had to read about 3 books. So that is these 3 if you look at it that way. Otherwise, what I told you at the beginning of this video, that is 4 that I'm going to be getting off of, well, 2 are not going anywhere, but 2 are going off my shelves, but 2 of them are finished. So that is 4 books for this video. So, did you enjoy this video? I'm really proud of myself for finally sticking with the same letter, and I'm really, really happy with how this went with 2 of them that were a hit, 2 that were a miss. That's pretty good. So, thank you so much for being here, hanging out with me for a little bit. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comments if you have read these books, enjoyed them, and seriously, the ending of Julie Chan is insane. So let me know what you thought of it. Did you like it or did you not like it? Because it went in a really wild way. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out with me for a little bit. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are so inclined. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys. I guess I probably shouldn't do that. That's probably a spoiler. This is the last video I'm reading for this video. Yep, totally. So